and the 2005 World Series. A 5-time Emmy winner award, Ken brought the White Sox to life for 33 seasons. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2020 Ford C. Frick Award winner, Ken Harrelson.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you. And thanks for all the great people here at the Hall of Fame, and thanks for the tremendous accommodations that you provided in hospitality. But I gotta ask Joe Torre, a question. How in the world did you ever leave the National League when you ran like Gus Triandos? Joe was not fleet of foot. And talking about the beauty of the game, you know, I got to talk to the commissioner and Joe because of the fact you guys have got to do something about scheduling 5 o'clock games in California, especially when Nolan Ryan was pitching. The only reason Joe did it because he didn't have to hit against him anymore. But talking about that, we had a rookie center fielder named Ralph Garr, and he had never faced Nolan. So before the game, Nolan's out there taking his warm-up, tosses Garr's, walking up and down the dugout, says, "All right, guys, come on now. I heard this guy's overrated. Let's get to him. I'll get on, and you guys find a way to get me around." So Ralph, little left-handed hitter, goes up there, and Nolan's first pitch right here, you can't see diddly squat. First pitch right here is 101. Ralph didn't move. Next pitch he threw him right here is 101. He didn't move. Next pitch he threw him right here was 102. And the only movement was when he turned around to go back to the dugout. So he goes back to the dugout, he puts the bat in the rack, takes off his helmet and says, "Boys, this ball game is over." And that's about the way it was, too, with Nolan Ryan out there. But you know, baseball is a game of memories and heroes, and I had my hero. His name was Mickey Mantle. When I was a kid, the Yankees came to Savannah to play an exhibition game against Cincinnati, and I taught my mom and let me skip school as she did. So the Yankees, after the game, came out, and they still were in uniform because they were going to the buses to go back to the train to go north. And I walked up to Mickey and I said, Mickey, can you sign my autograph, please?" So he didn't say anything, he just looked at me and kept walking. Mickey, can you sign my autograph, please?" He goes, "Beat it, kid." Broke my heart. So then when I got to the big leagues, boy, I wore his ass out. I'll tell you, I'll never let him forget that. And we became very good friends. But the beauty of the game is the game itself. The game itself. This is the most beautiful game we have ever seen. A couple of reasons are, one of them is it's not played against the clock. Next reason is when you're on offense, the other team controls the ball. But it's the stories that go along with it. I don't know if it was Scott Markin or Darryl Van Scow and Ed, but somebody wrote that Vin Scully was a play-by-play guy who told stories. And he wrote that Hawk Harrelson was a storyteller who did play-by-play. But in my 42 years of broadcasting, I had 14 different partners, with the first one being Don Drysdale, who I thought was the greatest baseball announcer that I have ever heard. He could articulate the game, pitching, hitting, he was a good hitter, defense, and positioning. And you know, positioning so much is a big part of baseball, especially in today's game, because of the fact that, you know, if you've watched a lot of my telecasts, my 2 rules in baseball are 2 things. First of all is you got to catch the ball. You can't give the other team 30 outs when you're getting 27 because you're going to get beat. And the second rule is don't mess with Joe West. Don't mess with Joe. But then when Don and I came to the White Sox, it was I was with the Red Sox at the time, and Don was with Texas. And I'll tell you, I learned so much from him. And I learned a lot as a player growing up, Ted Williams and guys like that. And I learned so much, you know, listening to Eric Nadel in Texas, because I was living in the Eastern Zone, working in the Central Zone, and I had an hour and a half drive each way. And I'd get home sometimes, you know, at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. But I'd listen to these guys, and you know, I learned a lot from all of them. I learned a lot from Al Michaels, one of the greatest announcers we've ever had, along with Bob Costas. And I tell you what, it's just a joy to listen, because I've always thought that baseball was a radio game. If you had the right announcers to put you in the ballpark, and that's what Vin did, and that's what Ernie Harwell of the Tigers did. But the guy I learned a lot from, too, was Bob Euchre. And Bob is a tremendous person. And, you know, doing a 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 game is an easy broadcast, as Al will tell you. What's the tough broadcast is when it's 9-0 in the 5th, 13-2 in the 7th. And that's when the stories come in. So Drysdale and I go over to Milwaukee to do a game, and the visiting club television booth was so small you couldn't have a camera in there. So we had to walk out and walk down on the writer's level there. And they set up the camera right underneath Euchre's booth. He was only like 6 or 7 feet away. So Jim Angio, our fabulous director, producer at the time, says, all right, guys, we're running short on time. Let's get this thing done. Don, take 1, 3, 2, 1. Drysdale goes, we are coming to you today from County Stadium in Milwaukee, where, and we heard us, so he glanced up at Euchre and he's going like this. Angio says, come on now, take 2, 3, 2, 1, Drysdale. We're coming to you from County Stadium in Milwaukee, where this afternoon. Euchre goes like this. We start to go, take 3, and all of a sudden we heard us, we look at nearest Euchre with a jockstrap over his face. Drysdale broke up, and I did too. I'll tell you what, I've never seen Big Don, and Al knows him as well as I do. I've never seen him laugh like that. And then we start to do take 4, and Euchre says, hey, don't worry, guys, I haven't used this one that much. But I want to tell you about my heroes. And there's one sitting right there, my beautiful wife, Harrelson. Honey, would you stand up a second? Stand up. And there she's sitting next to our daughter, our son Casey. And that whole section right there is my family. We had 23 of them come over. The Hollands, the Straffords, and of course from Cincinnati, my future president of the United States out there, Rivers, Sam Rivers, the Rivers. And I love those. I've never seen a family closer than we have. And one man sitting out there that I love, and he's a man's man. People don't understand that. I think he's the greatest owner in sports. And that, of course, is Jerry Reinsdorf. Jerry, stand up and let them see you, please. I think there are only 2 other owners in sports that brought 7 world championships to their city, and Jerry has brought 7. 6 with the Bulls, 5 with the White Sox, and he's not done yet. The club he has put together right now are fine, and he created what is a family atmosphere. I mean, it was like a family for the most part, all the years I was there. And 2 guys sitting next to him, Bob Grimm and Darren Jackson, they're like surrogate sons to us. I love them both like sons. And it's one of those things, Scott Reifert, and there's so many that I became really close to. I didn't like them. I grew to love them. And every day I went to the ballpark, I tried to make sure that I stopped by as many offices as I could just to say hello and let them know that, you know, we love you guys. But I've had a great career. I've been blessed. I was a great athlete, and I had some great help in the booth. And I'm going to end this right now so we can keep on with the program. This is my favorite toast. I gave this at Arnold Palmer's 80th birthday, and after it was over, he hugged me and he said, thank you, Hulk. And you know what a toast is? When you take a man's money, you take a man's money. But when you take a man's time, you take a part of his life. And I want to thank you all for all the parts of 8 decades of your time. Thank you very much.